are an internet user, you'll see Temu everywhere.
Did you know that it only took a year for the discount retail app Temu to attract 51 million monthly active users in the US? That's pretty close to the 67 million user base Amazon took decades to build. Temu managed to gain this massive following by offering low-cost goods shipped directly from China. It's now positioning itself to become a major player in the US e-commerce market. So how did a brand that was almost unheard of achieve such impressive growth in such a short time? And how is this one-year-old company keeping the entire e-commerce industry on its toes? Much like Amazon, Temu is changing the way we think about online shopping. Let's explore the details and see how they pulled it off.
Anybody who's not Amazon is the short answer of who should be worried.
In a classic David versus Goliath story playing out in the e-commerce world, the discount retail app Temu has quickly become a serious competitor to industry giant Amazon. It's amazing how this relatively new player is redefining online shopping and giving established companies a run for their money. In just over a year, Temu has managed to attract an incredible 51 million monthly active users in the US alone.
It's pretty extraordinary. It's a speed of adoption we really haven't seen in the past online.
Temu's rise to fame didn't happen by chance. The app has flooded social media feeds, sparking curiosity and attracting millions of consumers worldwide. To be exact, it has amassed over 161 million monthly app users globally. This surge in popularity has sent a ripple of excitement and fear through the online retail industry, as sellers scramble to figure out how to protect their products and profits from this new global competitor. Temu is operated by PDD Holdings, a Chinese e-commerce company with deep pockets. This financial backing has allowed Temu to spend heavily on advertising, shelling out $1.7 billion in 2023 alone. JP Morgan analysts predict that Temu could nearly double that amount, spending close to $3 billion in 2024. This massive budget is thanks to the billions PDD Holdings rakes in annually, enabling Temu to maintain its omnipresence. Meanwhile, Amazon continues to expand its reach, recently tapping into the South African e-commerce market. The company sees significant growth potential there, with online retail currently making up just 4% of total sales. Amazon's algorithm, while proprietary, offers clues on how sellers can improve their product rankings and capitalize on these new opportunities. How Temu achieved explosive growth. When Temu launched in September 2022, few could have predicted the waves it would make in the e-commerce market. In a short time, Temu has become a fierce competitor to big names like Amazon, Shein, and Etsy. Its secret? Offering a vast array of super low-priced products. This approach has turned Temu into the go-to place for budget-conscious shoppers, helping the company generate an impressive $9 billion in US gross merchandise value last year and attract over 100 million users. So, how did Temu manage this rapid rise? At the heart of Temu's rapid growth is a powerful marketing strategy. In 2023, PDD Holdings poured nearly $2 billion into advertising on major platforms like Meta and Google. This huge investment made Temu one of the top global advertisers and even drove up ad costs across the industry. They didn't stop there. Temu also bought expensive airtime during the Super Bowl, spending $7 million for a 30-second spot and handing out over $15 million in giveaways and coupons during the event.
When I first wrote about Temu, we reported that it launched very quietly, and now Temu is the opposite of being quiet.
Goldman Sachs has noted that Temu's heavy spending on marketing has had a big impact on its unit economics. In 2023, Temu spent about 5 to acquire every 39 order in the US, which was a bit of an improvement from 2022 when it spent $16 to attract each $29 order. Despite these high costs, Temu's strategy relies on gathering huge amounts of data to analyze user spending habits. This data helps them refine their algorithms, set the best prices, and manage inventory efficiently. One of the smartest moves Temu has made is creating a snowball effect with their user acquisition strategy. Once users are on the platform, they are encouraged to keep coming back or to refer friends by offering discounts and coupons. This gamification of marketing not only keeps users engaged, but also provides Temu with valuable data to further tailor their offerings and increase the lifetime value of each customer.
When China's e-commerce industry was already dominated by two companies, Alibaba and JD.com.
The app itself is designed to keep users hooked. It features prominent promotions, short videos, and a layout that encourages endless scrolling to discover new products and deals. Product reviews are set up like social media comments, making it feel like friends are reviewing the items. Temu's ability to offer such low prices comes from aggressive negotiations with suppliers and a super-efficient logistics system. They use a direct-to-consumer approach, allowing Chinese manufacturers to sell directly to North American buyers. This eliminates many middlemen, reducing costs, and allowing manufacturers to benefit from higher sales volumes despite the lower prices. Unlike traditional e-commerce models, Temu doesn't source from a limited pool of suppliers. Instead, they consolidate consumer demand and spread production across many smaller vendors who are expected to fulfill orders quickly. Any surplus inventory can be returned to suppliers, which minimizes Temu's inventory risk and allows them to adapt quickly to changing demand. Temu also has a unique profit strategy. Instead of relying on sales commissions, they make money through the revaluation of goods during currency conversion from the Chinese yuan to the US dollar. Temu's approach of selling super cheap goods from China to build its market share isn't entirely a novel concept. Other Chinese companies like Shein and TikTok are also making significant inroads into the US e-commerce market. However, what sets Temu apart is how it gamifies the online shopping experience, making it more engaging and fun for users.
They're just hoping to replicate its strategies that worked very well.
This strategy has really paid off. In just 6 months, Temu managed to attract more users than Shein did in 8 years. According to research firm AllianceBernstein, Temu sold an astounding $17 billion worth of goods in 2023. This success significantly boosted the market value of PDD Holdings by 74%, allowing it to briefly overtake Alibaba as China's most valuable e-commerce company. Redefining e-commerce in the US. Temu's rapid growth is catching the attention of major e-commerce players in the US. While Temu offers cheap prices, it also provides a unique shopping experience that keeps users coming back. Temu's standard shipping takes 6 to 22 days and express shipping ranges from 4 to 11 days. In contrast, the biggest e-commerce companies in the US are heavily focused on speeding up delivery times. Amazon, for instance, has reduced its average delivery time to less than 2 days since 2022. Other retailers are also improving, with an average delivery time of about 4.6 days in January. While Amazon sets the standard for delivery speed, Temu is winning on price. Despite Amazon's stronghold on the industry, it has had to make some changes in response to competition.
Watch.
Temu and Shein's success tells us that consumers are willing to wait as long as the products.
In late 2023, Amazon announced a reduction in the fees it charges sellers for clothing items priced under $20. An Amazon spokesperson stated that this move was intended to drive greater selection and competitive prices for customers. Pressure on competitors. It's not just about lower prices and reduced seller fees. Companies like Etsy are feeling the pressure too. An Etsy spokesperson mentioned that the company is seeing a strong return on investment from its marketing efforts, and the Etsy marketplace remains profitable. However, Temu poses a significant short-term threat to its competitors by changing the economics of running an e-commerce business.
It's like a game of chicken, and for companies like Etsy that are not growing as fast as Temu, they cannot keep up with this level of ad spending.
The long-term impact. In the long term, Temu's rise forces existing e-commerce giants to rethink their strategies. They can't afford to ignore the challenge Temu presents. Companies will need to decide whether they are okay with maintaining their current strategies and potentially seeing lower sales volumes, or if they want to be more aggressive in acquiring and retaining customers. Temu's success is more than just a flash in the pan. It's changing the rules of the game, and its competitors will have to adapt to survive and thrive in this new landscape. The e-commerce world is evolving rapidly, and it will be fascinating to see how these changes play out. Temu's rapid rise in e-commerce, a cause for concern. Temu's sudden prominence in the e-commerce world isn't just making small businesses nervous, it's catching Amazon's attention too. When Kernes met with the head of Amazon South Africa just before its launch in the country, the first question he was asked was, "What do you think about Temu?" Clearly, Temu is on their radar. Temu's explosive growth has raised eyebrows globally, and it's easy to see why. Offering incredibly low prices, the company has attracted a massive following in a short time. However, this rapid rise has also made some consumers skeptical about the quality of its fast fashion products. There have even been accusations from U.S. officials about Temu engaging in unfair and unethical practices. Comparing apples to oranges? Comparing Amazon and Temu might seem like comparing apples to oranges. Amazon is known for its speedy deliveries, which many customers are willing to pay a premium for. On the other hand, Temu can take more than 2 weeks to deliver to some countries, although their prices are exceptionally low. This difference in delivery speed and pricing creates an interesting dynamic in the e-commerce landscape.
To get more competitive, everybody needs to focus in the e-commerce space about making sure that they've got a distinctive value proposition that appeals to a consumer, and not just the first time around, but has them coming back.
Experts like Kernes find it fascinating to see so many people shopping on Temu and trusting the brand right from the start. He believes this trend is just beginning and predicts that the problem will get far worse for online sellers before it gets better. According to Kernes, it's a pressing issue for many online sellers, especially those who are now seeing Temu eating their lunch. Kernes manages a Facebook group as part of his e-commerce academy, and he notes that most of the over 40,000 seller members are constantly talking about Temu. Those most affected are entrepreneurs who sell generic products as they struggle to compete with Temu's rock-bottom prices. Navigating the new e-commerce landscape. For sellers looking to succeed, understanding Amazon's algorithm remains crucial. As Amazon continues to expand into new markets, sellers need to stay ahead of the game by optimizing their product listings and marketing strategies. Even though Temu's rise presents new challenges, it also offers valuable lessons on how the e-commerce landscape is evolving. Why Temu could challenge Amazon's dominance in the U.S. market. The U.S. market is keeping a close eye on the Chinese company Temu, as it aggressively expands its global presence. There's a lot of buzz about how Temu allows Americans to shop like a billionaire, with its low prices and wide variety of products.
Analysts believe that Amazon's move shows it's worried about losing suppliers as well as consumers to...
However, Temu's rise hasn't come without controversy. Recently, 11 Republican lawmakers sent a letter to the CEOs of CBS and its parent company, Paramount, urging them to ban Temu from buying ads. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton even posted on X warning that, like TikTok, Temu or any Chinese tech company must allow the Communist Party unfettered access to its data. He argued that this should be a deal-breaker for doing business in the United States. While it's unclear how knowing someone's purchase history of furry house slippers or knee massagers could pose a national security threat, Temu's rapid ascent is certainly shaking things up. Its meteoric rise is causing concern that it could disrupt the near monopoly Amazon has enjoyed in the American e-commerce market. Shoptainment as a new hobby. When you first dive into Temu's online store, it feels like a mix of a bustling flea market and a thrilling game. Right away, you're greeted with a spinning wheel offering coupons worth up to $200 to fill your cart with. The items on sale are a wild mix: night vision sunglasses, an endoscopic camera light, a big toe straightener, and even a bionic leaf disguise uniform. And the prices? Unbelievably low. You can snag a phone case for just 35 cents, a lingerie set for $4.49, and cozy house slippers for $1.59. Temu's genius lies in gamifying shopping, turning it into a fun and affordable hobby. It's shoptainment at its best, more affordable than a trip to the mall or renting a movie. While Amazon aims to be your go-to for everything you need, Temu surprises you with quirky gadgets you never knew existed, direct from the global factory floor. Temu's business model brilliantly bridges the gap between Chinese manufacturers with excess inventory and American consumers feeling the pinch from post-COVID price hikes. Even though U.S. inflation has eased somewhat, rising housing and food costs continue to strain middle-class budgets. Meanwhile, the Chinese economy is grappling with deflation. Temu helps manufacturers clear out their stock while offering consumers affordable, fun shopping experiences. Temu clogging air cargo routes. Across the U.S. and Europe, customs and shipping authorities are seeing a surge in Temu's distinctive orange packaging. Reuters recently reported that Temu ships around 4,000 tons of goods daily from China to destinations worldwide. This massive volume is taking up significant air cargo space, driving up shipping costs and causing capacity shortages on some routes. In June, the U.S. House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party released an interim report stating that Temu and fast fashion retailer Shein send nearly 600,000 packages to the U.S. daily under the de minimis rule. This rule allows most products valued below $800 per person per day to enter the U.S. without import duties. Lawmakers estimated that these two companies alone account for over 30% of all packages imported to the U.S. under this provision. In contrast, traditional retailers like Gap and H&M paid hefty import duties in 2022, $700 million and $205 million respectively, since they import goods in bulk. Staying under the radar in the EU. In the European Union, packages valued under $150 or $160 can be imported without duties. In 2022, nearly 1 billion customs declarations for low-value goods were filed, and preliminary numbers suggest this doubled last year. This surge has overwhelmed officials, making it difficult to keep up. The European Commission estimated that 65% of parcels entering the EU are deliberately undervalued to benefit from the duty exemption, disadvantaging EU businesses. Some companies avoid undervaluing by splitting larger orders into smaller packages, each staying under the 150 limit, leading to even more parcels to process. Sustainability of Temu's growth model. Despite Temu's impressive rise, many are wondering if its rapid growth can be sustained long-term. Some analysts believe Temu's stratospheric growth isn't sustainable, while their aggressive pricing strategy has been great for capturing market share. It raises concerns about diminishing returns and the economics of each sale.
It's like a game of chicken, and for companies like Etsy that are not growing as fast as Temu,
Relying heavily on substantial advertising spend to drive traffic and conversions might not hold up if they can't also boost customer retention and lifetime value.
it's driving up digital ad costs. That means it's more expensive for everybody in the space to acquire new.
The challenge of logistics. Logistics is another big challenge for Temu. Most of their products ship from China, taking over 10 days to reach U.S. consumers. This is a stark contrast to Amazon's 2-day delivery promise. As fast shipping becomes the norm, closing this delivery gap is crucial for Temu. Temu counters that their business model boosts efficiency and disputes the idea that they sell at a loss to gain market share. They claim that their approach is sustainable, but their explosive growth means they're under more scrutiny and facing more controversy. Building consumer trust. Building consumer trust is another critical area for Temu. Reports of inconsistent product quality have surfaced, especially with their low-cost items. While consumers might overlook these issues for cheap products, it could deter them from buying higher-priced items. This inconsistency could limit Temu's growth and market scope. Temu says it works closely with independent sellers to ensure their products meet required standards. However, the U.S. government is already watching Temu closely due to its Chinese ties. A 2023 report from a congressional commission raised concerns about data risks, exploiting trade loopholes, and the use of forced labor. Temu responded by expressing support for any policy changes that align with consumer interests and emphasize their commitment to privacy, security, and ethical labor practices. Facing new competitors. Temu is also facing new competition from TikTok Shop, which launched in the U.S. in September. TikTok Shop plans to offer huge discounts to attract new customers, which means both companies might end up spending big and losing money in the short term. E-commerce expert Lee notes that building a sustainable business requires more than just burning cash. Temu will need to balance keeping prices attractive for their core demographic while also turning a profit. High volume driven by heavy promotion isn't that impressive, he says. The future of Temu. It remains uncertain if Temu can develop a lasting business model. However, its bold entry into the U.S. market has shown other retailers new possibilities in commerce. Temu's strong market push, smart use of data, and efficient global network to keep prices low offer fresh insights into the future of retail. As the industry evolves, Temu's strategies could significantly influence how retail develops in the coming years. Temu's journey is far from over, and the e-commerce world will be watching closely to see if it can maintain its momentum and carve out a sustainable, profitable niche in the market.